Good morning. Welcome to Mantra 108. We are on the 13th day of our mantra, our 21-day mantra. And so I'll wait a few minutes until everyone has joined me. And in the meantime, I'll tell you a cool little story. So my friend Sue Mitchell posted some pictures today and some video of the wild boar that visit Fairmount Park every morning. For those of you who live in Riverside or around Riverside, you know Fairmount Park. It's been here for many, many years. Has a wonderful lake, Lake Evans, little lake, but anyway, it's our lake for our little duckies and for people who want to paddle boat. And actually my granddaughter, who came to stay with me last summer, took some sailing lessons there on Lake Evans. So, you know, it's not a tiny little pond, but anyway. So we have the Santa Ana River bottom that runs out of Fairmount Park, and that river bottom, the trail to the river bottom now goes all the way from here to the beach. I think there are connections all the way from here to, I've ridden my bike from here to Huntington Beach on that river trail. So I think it goes a long way and a long way back. But anyway, there are wild boar that live in the river bottom, and they like to come up into Fairmount Park to forage around the lake for all the little goodies that may have been left by people who go there to feed the ducks, and people fish in the lake. So there might be all kinds of fun things to munch on for those wild boar. So Sue took a picture this morning, some pictures and some videos. She got there at 5:30. She walks the park every morning. She's a photographer. She does some fabulous photos of the birds that visit the park. And so anyway, she was there this morning at 5:30, and she took some wonderful video and photos of a whole big herd of wild boar. There were probably, I don't know, at least 20 of them, if not more. And then, like clockwork, as the sun comes up at 5:45, they go running across the road and back into the river bottom. So I thought I'd spend my little time of waiting until everybody gets on with me this morning. I thought I'd spend that time to tell you about these wild boar that come to Fairmount Park every morning, or maybe many mornings, if not every morning. So it's really cool to live in Riverside. I have the Box Springs Mountains that surround me and my home, and this is where all the wild burros live, up in the Box Springs. There are hundreds of them that live up in the Box Springs, and many of them come wandering down through my neighborhood. So just a couple of days ago, I had a lot of burros right across the street from me in my neighbor's yard, munching on her grass and getting cool in the grass. And 5 miles away from me is Fairmount Park, where these wild boar come to visit. So we have a wonderful wildlife experience here in Riverside. And of course we have coyote and raccoon and bobcat, and we have even had some mountain lion sightings in the Box Springs. We have fox, just all kinds of really fun little critters, possums, that live very close to us. So that's really cool. So that was my little time waster this morning while everybody started to get on. So this morning we're continuing to talk through the 8-point meditation plan that Eknath Easwaran talks about and teaches. And now today, the next point that we'll talk about is putting others first. That's a point of shifting our consciousness, shifting the way we proceed through life, to put others ahead of ourselves. That's not always easy to do. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's pretty difficult, especially when we all have strong opinions and probably strong values that may be in opposition of others, strong needs, of course. But these are all the things that we work on when we work on our progression through our meditation practice and our mantra practice, and making little shifts in our lives to support our practice and to support what our practice is doing for us, how our lives are evolving through our mantra practice. So I want to read two things to you this morning. The first one is a quote that I found just a couple of days ago, and this was supposedly written by Pope Francis. Now, you never can tell these days about the memes and the quotes that you see out there that are afforded to different people. So whether or not this truly was written or spoken by Saint Francis, or whether somebody just wrote this nice little thing and decided that they would tag Pope Francis's name to it, I don't know. But anyway, here's what he or whomever says. Rivers do not drink their own water. Trees do not eat their own fruit. Sun doesn't shine on itself. And flowers do not spread their fragrance for themselves. Living for others is a rule of nature. We are all born to help each other. No matter how difficult it is, life is good when you are happy, but life is much better when others are happy because of you. So I thought that was a really cool quote to illustrate what Aishwaran encourages us to do, and that is to put others first. And then the second thing that I want to read to you is the very well-known, perhaps infamous prayer of Saint Francis of Assisi. So likely many of you, if not all of you, know this prayer, but it also speaks so strongly of the benefit, the grace, the importance of putting others first. So here's what this prayer says. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. And it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. So Probably like many of us, that has always been one of my favorite prayers. And it really puts front and center the idea of putting others first, trying to bring things to this world that help others to feel loved, to feel forgiven, to feel embraced, to feel a sense of faith and sense of hope. So if we can be instruments of this, instruments of the peace, the bliss, the divinity of the divine, if we can be instruments of that, creating practices for ourselves that really bring this front and center. What a divine way to live our lives, putting others first. Just as the sun and the flowers and the rivers, the earth, serve. Let us also serve. That is most definitely a part of living our meditation practice. And so, with that, we'll chant our half mala again today, moving slowly through the words, through the syllables, through our practice. Go ahead and close your eyes. Take a moment to just sink into this idea of serving others. The mantra that we chant is all about service to all beings. That all beings might be comfortable and happy. That all beings might be free from disease. That all beings might see what is spiritually uplifting to them. And that all beings might be free from suffering. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Let your skin begin to soften. Let your muscles, your heart, your mind all begin to soften. Soften into the space where we can truly offer our mantra, our prayer, our actions, our speech, for the benefit of all beings. Let's take an inhale together to begin. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. And so we come to the end of our practice today. And I invite you to think about ways that you can be of service to others. Let's try to be of service to others in our thoughts, in our emotions, in our speech, and in our actions. So I'll leave you with that thought today. Thanks for being with me. I'll see you tomorrow morning.